and welcome to Just Being Human. This is our very first podcast, and my name is Lubna Kerr. I'm an NHS worker, and for the past 15 years, I've been on a personal journey of discovery. I'm also a lifestyle coach, and I'm a stand-up comedian, actress, and writer. And over to you.
Hi there. Hi there, I'm Helen McCabe. And the news today, no, I'm only kidding. I'm an NHS professional too. And for the last 4 years, I have also been on a journey of self-development and self-discovery. And I too do stand-up comedy. And I'd just like to say, Lubna, how did you get started in comedy?
I started in comedy in 2013, and it was the year my mum died. And I needed a distraction from the grieving process. And I did a stand-up course with Laughing Horse during the Fringe. And I didn't read the fine print. I thought it was a course to write comedy, not to perform. And turns out I had to do a gig on the Sunday night, and the rest, they say, is history. So what about you, Helen? What brought you into comedy?
Well, there was a certain person in my life who, when I said I wanted to do comedy, because I'd seen there was a course, I think it was during one of the Glasgow festivals, comedy festivals, a course for particularly women to go along and do stand-up comedy, to which I was told, well, you're not that funny. So yeah, got rid of him, and basically in 2018 just saw a wee 6-week course with a gig at the end of it, and thought, you know, now's the time. Just went for it, and I'm going to do a wee shout out here to Obi, because it was his comedy course I did, and well, as you say, the rest is history really. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
And that's John O'Brien, isn't it? He's quite an established comedian, been going for quite a while, is that right?
Yeah, 20 odd years, yeah.
And I'm just thinking Sorry? And you go, he's got quite
a kooky, really good way of looking at life from different angles. It's just amazing what he does. Yeah. And then I followed that up with the lovely Viv G. I've done her 2 University of Strathclyde courses as well, and those gigs were amazing. I mean, one, where were we? We were at Brouhaha, and I didn't make the second one. I think the second one was at Iron Horse when it was still open. Sadly, we've lost another comedy gig there.
I did her course as well, actually. Yeah. I spent a year doing her course, and I think we were at, we did the Yes Bar, and we did somewhere else. I can't remember the place that's closed down. I can't remember what it was. So I was just thinking about, it's quite interesting that we're both healthcare professionals, and we both got into comedy, and I was trying to think about, when did we first meet? When did our paths cross?
Well, I've had a wee think about this, and to be honest, I just can't remember.
What? You can't remember meeting me? Oh, no.
No. Well, wait a minute here. I might not be able to remember meeting me, but we're still pals.
We are still pals. Absolutely, totally pals.
I remember when we became more solid friends was at Graham Mackey's
birthday party.
60th, his retirement birthday party. I'm not sure, we're up again at Laldy on the dance floor. Do you know?
I do remember that. I actually do remember that. And actually, I think
we were the only two. Sorry.
And I do remember, I think I came to see you in your Brouhaha course, actually. And then you asked me to gig for you in Helensburgh.
Yes.
In that tiny room in the back of the pub.
Yeah, you just moved all the comedians and anybody who wanted to be audience, and then the rest of them who had been talking through the whole thing were all like, "Where's the comedy gone?" You weren't listening.
That's what happens.
Oh man!
If you exclude people out of something, they want it. And so they were all listening by the end of the night. It was a great tactic. It worked really well.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out, because in my job I'm including folk, not excluding people. So I'm guessing that lesson hasn't quite sunk in for me yet.
So I wonder, the audience might want to know, why are we doing this? What was the stimulus?
Well, a situation arose where you gave me a wee phone call to have a wee chat, and you were just checking in that I was doing okay, And during our call, we just have such a giggle. And I just said, you know, Lubna, we should be recording this and bottling it and selling it, basically. And I just said, you know, do you fancy trying a podcast? And you were like that, yeah. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you're asking me to talk. Woo!
Well, that and the fact we're strong, powerful, independent women, do you know?
Independent, opinionated women who have...
yeah, there's that as well.
What we do have in common, we do have a lot in common, but we also have differences as well. I think that's what you were actually talking about, was that we come from quite different backgrounds and we have different experiences, different cultural backgrounds. So actually our view of very important topics is skewed by our upbringing. And I think that's really important to share with people, because there's no right or wrong answer for life. It's what is right for us and what makes us feel good. So yeah, and then the name, we had a laugh about picking the name, didn't we? Yeah, at one point we were like, two fat ladies, and we're like, we're not at a bingo.
We're also not a cooking show.
And we didn't want to make it, it's not a show about women, it's a show for everybody. And I think you came up with the title of Just Being Human.
Just Being Human.
And I just thought, that's just a brilliant title, because that is inclusive of everybody. It's
Absolutely.
Inclusive of what colour, creed, race, religion, sexuality, sexual orientation, everything. Disability, everything.
Yeah, can I go back to my previous comment? I'm inclusive, not exclusive.
Absolutely, you are absolutely inclusive. So welcome everybody to our very first podcast, Just Being Human. And so now you know all about Helen and I. And there are a few topics that we thought we might discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that you want to raise first, Helen?
Well, I had a question here.
Sure.
It's one I have struggled with and I've been working on, and it is, what does authenticity mean? And especially to you, Lubna, what do you consider authenticity means to you?
That's a really, really good and challenging question.
Mm-hmm.
Authenticity to me means being truthful to your core beliefs, to your core values, and to treat others the way that you would want to be treated with your core values.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that in itself is laudable, but actually can get you into trouble. Because if you have certain core authentic values and then you expect people to treat you as you would treat them, that's not life. Because people's core values, people's authenticity varies. So it's, at the end of it, it's about being honest with yourself. That you are behaving in a way that you can hold up your head high and say, I'm happy with what I said, what I did, the way I treated people, whatever it is, whatever walk of life you're walking in, you can hold up your head and say, I like me. And that's difficult because not everyone likes themselves. What do you think about authenticity, Helen?
Well, it's interesting just what you said, because you brought up honesty and truthfulness first. And I too have the core value of being honest and truthful. But to me, being authentic was telling everybody everything about myself. Because I thought that was being honest and truthful.
And it is.
Sorry?
It is being honest and truthful.
Yes, but it's also at the detriment to myself, to my protection. I found out later in life, because people don't treat you the way you treat them, and people, as you were saying, do struggle to like themselves, and when they're struggling to like themselves, they treat others in a certain particular way, which can be manipulative and can be controlling, and when you've been that open and honest about who you are, they literally have the keys to your kingdom.
I absolutely agree with you. I remember from a very young age, people would always say to me, "Oh, Lubna, you wear your heart on your sleeve."
Yeah.
And I actually thought that was a real compliment, but actually I don't think it was meant. I don't think it was meant in a complimentary way, because I would wear my heart on my sleeve because I would be authentic and upfront and honest, and I have nothing to hide, you know. And I still think that actually I would want to wear my heart on my sleeve still, and I do still wear my heart on my sleeve. I am slightly more guarded about how much of my sleeve I show now. Maybe in the past it was the whole sleeve, and now it's just half the sleeve. But I wouldn't want to lose that authenticity about me, because that is who I am. Now, I was doing a gig the other night last week, and one of the comedians came back to me and she described my comedy. And I haven't done comedy for 8 years. You know, people say to me, "What's your comedy about?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's observational, it's storytelling." And actually this girl came back to me and said, "Your comedy's very direct." And I thought, I like direct. That is me. Sorry, Helen, what were you going to say about wearing your heart on your sleeve?
No, I was just going to say, I've got a pair of curtains over mine now. If I like you, they're open. If I don't, they're shut. That's literally it, you know. But I was in a group, and I'm going to drop another name. Her name is Claire Bennett. Mm-hmm. She runs a group called, oh my goodness, I've forgotten the name. It's a Facebook page. Anyway, Claire Bennett, she's a life coach. You can look her up on Facebook. Authentic Connections, that's the group that she was running, and I was attending, and that was the first question on the group. It was very interesting, and her whole premise for authenticity is exactly what you're saying, Lubna. It's live your core beliefs, live your core gifts, but you also have to apply those to yourself. So if one of your core beliefs, example, one of mine is compassion and understanding, we'll apply that to yourself before you open yourself up to anybody else, because once you're open, you can't shut that door again. And she also said that being authentic is not telling everybody everything about yourself up front, but it's showing up in your authenticity. The fact that you show up for certain things is authentic of you. Say, for example, I've signed up for gigs and felt poorly that day, and I'm still showing up. Mm-hmm. That's living your authenticity, mm-hmm. You know. So to me, being authentic is slightly guarded, but is it guarded or discerning? I think I prefer the word discerning. I am now in control and deciding who I share what with, if you like. But I think the biggest shift for me in my authenticity is actually being able to look in the mirror and say to myself, I love you, I've got you, we're going to do this, it's okay. And, you know, actually knowing that I'm worthy. That's the bottom line. Big heavy subject there for you.
So I have a question for you. Oh, so you went to Claire Bennett as a life coach. I'm like, I am a life coach and you didn't come to me. I'm just saying, Helen.
I'm just saying, I only knew you as a comedian and an actress.
That's okay. I'm just winding you up. I like your use of the word discerning. I think that's a really, really good use. I think guarded it's got different connotations, whereas discerning is you're making a decision about what it is you want to give out, whereas guarding is more, I'm not giving out anything. You know, it's got a very strong link to privacy. And you'll tell different people different things, whereas guarding, you don't tell anybody, or you tell everybody the same thing. Whereas when you get closer friendships with people, you'll tell them more, so you are more discerning.
Yes.
I liked what you did there earlier on, is that you had your own affirmations. The thing, I love myself, I give myself compassion. I absolutely 100% agree with you about whatever you are being authentic with to other people, you have to be that to yourself. And I said at the start, you have to like yourself. You took it to the next level. You have to love yourself. You have to have compassion. You have to empathize with yourself. You need to give yourself a break. You don't need to self-sabotage yourself. Everything that the guidance that we would be giving to other people, you're absolutely right. We give that to ourselves first. Because if we are in the best shape possible, then we can help other people.
Absolutely. And it's the old analogy, and I know it's a big cliche, but you can't give from an empty cup.
I've not heard that before. Where's that from?
No,
I haven't heard that. You can't give from an empty cup. I'm going to write that down.
No, you
can't. Is that a Scottish one?
Look, can you see that? Can you see the water level in there?
Yeah.
I can only give that much water away because that's all I've got. So you can't give from an empty cup. If your cup's not full. The other thing as well is just thinking about the word guarded as discerning. Guarded means that you're closed. You're completely closed off. And one of the things that I really have worked on is that I'm now open to receiving all that's good, that's meant for me. And being discerning is making a decision about what you might consider as a path to take. But you're open to an option. But the other thing that I've really worked on as well, and I really feel that this is deep core authenticity for me, is my boundaries. They were made of sand before, and literally life was a wave. It just eroded them all. I don't know if I really had any solid boundaries before 18 months ago. There were a couple, like I will not be hit. I do not agree with violence at all in any shape or form, man, woman or child. Although with some of the kids that I've worked with in the past, you have to give them some leeway because they don't understand. Yeah. That's fine. And the other one is I won't accept being cheated on. So those were cheated, yeah. I won't accept being cheated on. So those are two hard no's. Literally, that was it. I didn't have boundaries around how precious my time was. I didn't have boundaries around, if somebody, challenging somebody if they've offended me or they've said something that I was a bit like, I don't agree with that. I never did any of that. I thought to be a nice person, you had to just sail along. But literally all that did was, I'm quite empathic as a person, and all that's done is really, really hurt my core, and made it really difficult for me to process what I'm feeling, and some of the things that have happened to me in life, like losing my mum as well, Lubna. I only feel that I've grieved for her recently, and she passed away 8 years ago.
So did my mum pass away 8 years ago? What year was that then?
2012.
Ah, right. So it'll be 9 years for your mum this year. My mum was 2013.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, it was. When I say 8 years ago, it was December. So okay. Yeah. So we're not quite at December 2021 yet. So, no. But yeah, that and I just. So basically, just authentically dealing with myself. And I'm not perfect. And I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And to be honest, I don't want to be everybody's cup of tea. No. But lockdown has really helped me. And I know that's a big controversial thing to say because lockdown has been hard for so many people. But it's really helped me reclaim the energy for myself, be with myself. It's really got me through I don't like being alone. Mm-hmm. Because to be honest, I've quite enjoyed my own company, doing my own thing. Yeah. It's brought me my peace of mind back. I don't know if any of that makes any sense, but yeah.
That's really interesting. So that's another thing we have in common. We actually lost our mums around about the same time, 8-9 years ago. And I like that phrase, you can't give from an empty cup. Now, when I'm doing my counselling or my coaching, what I say to people is that if your well of energy is empty, how can you give? So
I'm
that's
going to put a wee heart up for that. Awesome.
If your well of energy is empty, how can you give? And I suppose that the thing is, how do we prevent our well of energy being empty? How do we replenish our own energy? Because, and another thing we have in common is that we are both empaths. So we pick up other people's energy, good and bad.
Yeah.
And the bad, the toxic energy is what then depletes our good energies and then puts us in not the right place. So I agree with you about when you being open. Being open is I've always thought of myself as being an open person, but actually being too open, which is probably what I have been, opposite of you in a way. I was too open and wore my full heart on my sleeve. It did give people, like you said, that opportunity to come in and harm you. For those ones who could see your vulnerability and who could see my vulnerability, it was an opportunity for them to hurt you, to bully you, to abuse you. I don't mean physically, but emotionally, and mentally, absolutely. And they would take advantage of, and some people might say it's your naivety, but they would take advantage of your personality for their own gain.
Yeah.
And through life, that's something that, like you've said, we have to learn to protect ourselves, and by being discerning is actually not giving away our information freely is actually how we do that. And we don't go down the guarded route because then actually we lose a lot of people that could enhance our lives. So being open with a discerning attitude, I think, is, and being authentic to your core values, is perhaps the way forward for everybody. Because if we were authentic to our beliefs, we wouldn't have people cheating on us. We wouldn't want to have people wanting to beat us up. We wouldn't have people wanting to scam us. It was interesting. I wanted to say something to you. You mentioned affirmations, which I think is brilliant. And now, I don't know if you cross stitch or embroider, but actually I have a challenge for you, Helen. My challenge for you is to actually cross stitch those affirmations and put them in a frame. So every morning when you get up, they're in a big frame and you see those affirmations. So that's the first thing that you see, because the more you see and believe those affirmations, the more they're actually going to get into you, and you're going to believe what it is that you have written down there. So there's a challenge for you.
Excellent challenge. I do believe in affirmations, and I think previously I am exactly how you've described. My heart was open, on my sleeve, the curtains were wide open. It was almost sticking out like a 3D heart, do you know what I mean? But just in the last 4 years, as I've been working on self-development and self-improvement and everything, I have learned an awful lot about what I was giving away. And in 2019, I hit rock bottom. I did 5 days at the Edinburgh Festival and then was ill for 2.5 weeks. And all I can say is, that was a lot of energy expended, but not on myself, on other people.
Yeah, no,
anyway.
I wanted to.
I was just going to comment on what you were saying about affirmations. I have found the most successful thing for me, affirmation-wise, is I've recorded them on my phone and I listen to them first thing in the morning and I listen to them last thing at night. And it's funny because it's me speaking to me, and it means so much. I mean, it's a practice you need to do. If you're changing things for the better, you need to build them into your routine. You need to build them into your practice, because these changes are deep-rooted, they're deep-seated. It's that reconnecting with yourself, and it needs work. I needed work. I don't want to make the mistakes I did. I don't want to end up feeling the pain that I've been in. I want to live a life of wellness and mental peace. if you like, now I know life, if you listen to the Dalai Lama, life is suffering, and life is unfair. And once you accept those, and by accepting, I don't mean you can't change them, but you just need to accept that that's the precedence. Life is suffering and life is unfair. You don't need to live there, but you need to accept that that is what life is, and look for the joy. That's one of the things I do every day. I look for joy. Like the other day I was walking to the shop, I'd run out of hay for the 4 guinea pigs, 4 smelly guinea pigs I've got. And the birds were singing, and it's like really the first time in about 6 months I'd noticed the birds were actually singing. And then I'm thinking, well, that's probably true, Helen, because it's spring and you've been 6 months of winter here, but it was the fact that I noticed it, and I thought, that's what mindfulness is. Yeah. Being in the moment, actually appreciating things that bring beauty and joy into your life. I know that birdsong is about territory and getting a mate, but it sounds beautiful.
Maybe that's what we should be doing a bird song. Cheap. I wanted to also raise something with you around when you said the wording about I don't want someone who cheats on me. Now, our brains do not understand the word don't. So all our brain is thinking, I want you.
Yeah.
So to reframe that, it should really be, I want someone who is loyal to me. Because your energy is then going on to loyal, not cheat. Because the previous way you said it was your energy, the limited energy that we have, we need to direct that in the right place.
Yes.
If it's going on cheat, you're never going to get a loyal person. So actually,
no, that's true, and that was those were, when I was talking about that, those were my past boundaries. Those were the only 2 I had. But funnily enough, both came true. Anyway, as you say, you've got to watch what you put out there as well. So all my affirmations are in the present tense and in positivity. Absolutely. So it's about what I want and what I need in my life. It's not about what I don't want anymore. Should have said that was possibly the biggest shift in the last 4 years, is actually putting out there what I want now, not focusing on the bad, focusing on the good, if you want to be that black and white about it.
And have you heard of Louise Hay?
I love Louise Hay. Her cards are amazing.
She's written, she's passed away now. She's 95, but she wrote many books. And I remember reading one of them about how the mind can heal your body. And in one of the chapters, she was talking about when you're looking for a partner, you're looking for that mate for life, or that person you want to be with, and you're writing down all the things that you want in them, you have to have those things in you.
100%.
So if you want someone that's loyal, that's decent, that's hardworking, that's supportive, that's kind, that's loving, that's giving, you need to have those things, because like attracts like. It's not opposites attract, it's like attracts like. So if you're a sporty person, you look for somebody sporty. You can't ask for somebody sporty, you just sit on the couch all day watching whatever television is on. So
well, that explains a lot of the body positivity I'm trying to do at the moment.
So absolutely, we need to be the beacon that we want to attract.
Yes. Oh, that's gorgeous. Let's just listen to that again. Go for it, Lubna.
We need to be the beacon that we want to attract.
I'm going to write that down, because
because I'll not remember it later.
If we're recording this, you can watch it back.
Oh, I don't know where these words are coming from. Oops, or somebody just helping along the way. So I think this
you need to be the beacon of what you want to attract.
Yeah, you need to be the beacon, and that goes back to your core beliefs, your authenticity. Because if you shine through, if that beacon of light from you is your authentic core, you will then attract somebody who is the same as you. And I think that many people have had unsuccessful relationships, and everybody has some form of unsuccessful relationship. And I think that perhaps that beacon of light that we're shining out was maybe coloured, was maybe misaligned, was maybe not sharp in focus. Do you know where I'm coming from? So actually, because it wasn't the sharp, exact colour that you wanted, the direction it wanted to be, and that beacon of light was maybe spread too far. So you were, being attracted to a range of men or women who actually you didn't know how to discern between, not you, but how we didn't know to discern our way between them. So I think when we do shine that beacon of light, when we are that beacon of light, if we have refined ourselves, if we refined ourselves, refined our beliefs, refined our core values, we know who we are, we're very distinct, and that light that we're shining is directed to one or two or three areas, not to the whole spectrum, then I think that's when we're more likely to meet the people who will resonate with us. Because when that spectrum, that wavelength is full of different resonations, I don't know if that's a word, but if people are on different wavelengths, then, and we are sending out this, I don't know who I really want, I don't know who I am, then we're going to get the people who actually jar with us. So actually we need to meet the people that resonate on our wavelength, whether it's friends or lovers or partners or whatever it is that you want. Yeah. The people that we want in our life are the ones that resonate with us. And I'm not saying they are then actually, it's just about people who think the same way as we do. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that people who are authentic to their core.
It gives that, what you're saying gives a new meaning to the phrase, you are everything you need.
You are everything you need.
Yeah, everything you need is within you.
That's a lovely phrase.
Yeah, it's one that it's funny, as we've been talking, it's one that just keeps popping into my head. You are everything you need. And it is something that obviously life coaching and counselling and CBT and all of that, psychiatry, psychology, all of that is trying to reconnect you with yourself. And technically what you've just said there is, I have everything inside of me to be the person I want to be. I have everything inside of me to heal me. I have everything inside of me to propel me forward. But I am also everything I will need in somebody else. So there's a twofold part to that. It's about you, but it's also about, as you quite rightly said, being the beacon for what I'm trying to attract. Trying to attract into my life. That leads quite nicely onto the question. Just you've touched on relationships there, Lubna, might just bring us nicely onto the question that we chatted about, that we might want to talk about today, which is, do successful relationships depend on each other being in each other's pockets? And can you do your own thing and be happy together?
Yes, that's a really interesting question, Helen.
Yes, indeed.
I personally believe that you can do your own thing, and I think that brings more joy and more interest into the relationship. If you are spending 24 hours a day, as we are currently at the moment, even after that, when you're when we go into retirement, if we're spending all the time with that one or two people, what do we have to bring to the table that's different? They're living your life, you're living their life. Is that when the conversation goes stale? How do we keep a relationship alive? And I personally feel it's not about being in each other's pockets. It's about bringing something about ourselves to the table that's different, that's exciting, that's interesting. And if you if I am out somewhere and I meet different people, when I come home to my partner, I can say to him, oh, look, I met so-and-so, I met this old man, I met this younger person, this is what I've learned. And actually, it's part of growing as a person and growing in a relationship. So if somebody came to me and said, you know, I met this guy or I met this girl and she wants to spend all my time with me and she doesn't want me to do anything different from her, I would have my concerns about that. You know, I would find that very claustrophobic, and it would worry me. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I think there's a difference between being dependable and codependent.
Ooh, fancy words.
Well, you know what I do as a job. Words are my job. Anyway, yeah, I think they're just thinking about how I have been in relationships. When I start, I'm quite an exuberant person. I'm quite energetic at times, right? And I am a very strong, independent woman. And nobody would deny that.
No.
But I do have the odd little blip, the odd little, oh my God, I can't do this. And then you should be able to turn to your partner for support. Now, when I have really needed somebody, it's my friends I turn to. So you think, well, your life partner should be part of that group, surely. But basically, when I've turned to people like that, they've not been able to support me either in the fashion that I should be supported in, because they've not been capable or they've not wanted to. And I've never really thought about it before. So I was trying to replicate something with people who weren't right, that I thought was what I needed in a relationship. So I think what I was doing was breeding a codependency. They were in the fact that it only worked when I was the happy one. When I was the one leading the oh, we're doing this, oh, we're doing that, come on, we're going here. No, that's not a relationship. That's me. That's me being the horses in the front of the chariot. That's me, you know. And I guess the downside to that was there was probably times when my partners felt ignored or unseen, possibly. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that's not what I want. But I want somebody loyal and dependable, that when I do reach out with something that I need, because I will, as we all do, then they're there to respond, you know. Yeah. And as for keeping my independence, oh my God, do not try and tie me down. No, I will want to be doing my comedy, I want to be doing my running, I will want to do my cycling, I'll be wanting to do my hiking. I know this is sounding like an internet dating profile, but that's the point. I want to do my gardening. I would like somebody to care enough or have similar interests to want to share that with me.
Yes.
But do I need them to be doing it with me so I do it? No.
So
no, I think that's what I've discovered about myself. I can do these things by myself. I would prefer it to share it with somebody. But if that's not to be, then that's absolutely fine, because it's not going to stop me now. And I think previously that's where my frustrations have definitely come from, because I've said to a partner, come on, let's go for a walk, and they're like, no, I've just sat there like that. What? We're not going out again? Well, this is ridiculous, I'm really bored. So gone into Kevin the teenager mode, you know, rather than actually saying, oh, do you know what? That's okay, you can stay at home, I'm going for my walk.
Yeah. No, and I understand that, and I think there's a balance to be had about doing some things together with your partner and keeping some things separate. I think my question was more about doing everything together as with your partner, and and there's, you know, there might be some things like, you know, I'm not a mountain bike person. So if my partner, not that I have one at the moment, but if my partner wanted to go mountain biking, great, go away with your friends. I've got Sunday morning to myself because I'm speaking to Helen. Yay! Do you know? So it's about having space for yourself to do your own thing, but also doing things together. But there's a more subtle question in what you were saying about you couldn't go to your partner looking for that support. You went to your friends. Now,
Yes.
something else I'm going to ask you to do, Helen, for next week. You didn't realise this is what you're going to do about it.
Lubna. This isn't just being human. This is counselling for Helen.
No, I don't mean that. And I'll do this as well. I promise you, we'll both do this, right? We'll both do this.
Hang on, I've got a pen and a bit of paper.
Okay, so write it down. Sort of forget.
Yes.
So for next week, I want us to write down what it is that we want in a partner.
Off, that's done.
No.
No, I have done that.
Okay, so it'll be easy for you. I haven't written it down. I've been thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about what I want, but I haven't actually written it physically using a pen and paper or pencil and paper, written it down. So I'm going to do that for next week. That's my homework. To actually write down what it is I'm looking for in a partner.
I will relook it. I promise I will relook at mine. I need to do it anyway. Yes, I will relook at mine. I had some things to look at in my life, and the fact that you had to. I was asked to do a rating scale of certain areas of my life, and one of them was a significant other or a romantic partner. I got 0 because he doesn't exist at the moment. Well, he exists. He's just not here. But
you mean Colin first not been in touch
he
yet?
exists and he doesn't know I'm calling. I'm the beacon for him. I'm on my way. Get ready. Definitely. I think just through life experience, my whole outlook on a relationship was always me giving and them taking as well. And I used to do this behaviour, and just I'm going to share this with you folks. I'm just going to show you this here, this book here, Deeper Dating. Okay, yeah, you can see I'm only 15% through, so I'm still a beginner, but this has already revolutionised how I see myself in a relationship. And I did a test in this book. Hang on, I'll show you this book as well. And again, I'm only 15% through, so I'm a relative beginner at this. But there was a test online that goes with this book, and it tells you what kind of relationship attachment style you have. And it described me perfectly, but it also described what I've always gone for, which are emotionally unavailable men who don't really want to be with me. Who knew? Honest to God. And every day, the universe presents me with opportunities of talking to men or being with men. Every single one of them is an emotionally unavailable man. So now I've started to say thank you, but no thank you. That's not for me. This is what I would like. So affirmations again, Lubna. So yeah, working on it. But it was really interesting that I would do this behaviour where if I was going out with my girlfriends and we'd organised it a week, maybe 2 weeks before, I wouldn't tell my partner till that night. Because if I'd told him 2 weeks before, I would have been berated for 2 weeks that I was going out without him and not spending the time in the house with him, right? Instead, what I got when I was getting ready to go out was 2 hours of, I can't believe you're going out. I can't believe why are you going out? Because you never take me anywhere. And it would end up in an argument, and I would love being out. That's awful. I felt really sorry for my poor wee self. And I was like, but that's not me. I'm a person who likes socialising. I'm a person who likes being out. Yeah. So that was quite a revelation for me that I was reacting to somebody else's behaviour by behaving really flipping badly.
That's a really interesting place actually to stop talking today. And that's I think we should take that forward, hold that thought for next week, Helen. Tell that story again. It's about how your behaviour changed because of how somebody else was treating you. And that's really because what happened there was you lost your authenticity.
100%.
You lost your core values. But it was because you were made to feel like that. I'm not blaming you. It's just an acknowledgement.
It was more self-protection than anything else.
Absolutely. So it's about how do we, as just being human, how do we identify and avoid situations like that by actually making sure we end up with the right person or the right people in our lives. So I've really enjoyed this morning, Helen. It's been fascinating talking to you as ever. And I think we should call this first episode Authenticity. What do you think?
Yes, I definitely think, yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching or listening to this, then we're hoping to do podcasts on a regular basis. We're trying to grow our brand, Just Being Human. And we're hoping through time to have live Facebook feeds so that we can actually interact with you lovely people out there. But please be patient with us if you're new to this whole podcast game. We've really enjoyed this morning. Have you enjoyed it, Helen?
Oh, loved it.
Is it what you expected it to be, the mutual conversations?
Never is with you. Never is with us.
It's been fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody who's listening and watching us. And I look forward to getting some really positive feedback from the wonderful people who are going to be watching and listening to what we're doing.
Absolutely.
See you next time.